Hello everyone, and thank you for being here. Today we are going to take a look at the Decal Studio. So we are going to go through some of the parameters that the tool has, and I will be using it here so you can see how it works and all the workflows that we designed for you guys. So yeah, let's jump into it. First of all, thank you everyone that has purchased the tool in the Fab Marketplace. So yeah, if you just install the plugin into your project, you will find the Decal Studio here under selection mode. We have to change it to script tools. You can press also F9 to jump there. So yeah, let's press here. And we have the Decal Studio here right for us to start playing with it. So let's see what it has to offer. So we can open working method, and we have snap mode. That is the way the edge decal will snap into our geometries. Okay, so it can be free placement, snap to vertex with pathfinding. This one, trust me, is really interesting. And finally, snap edge. We have also the distribution that it can be scale along path and copy along path. We will see the difference right now. And the scale of the decal, the number of copies that we want to place, and the rotation of the decal. First of all, before placing any decal in the scene, I want to tell you that we have here a Viewport help, and it will become very handy. So if we press Shift plus mouse wheel, so it will rotate the decal 90 degrees. If we press Alt plus mouse wheel, it will scale the decals that are in the scene. If we press X button, we will change the shape of the decal between shape type A and shape type B. It will be, by default, it is exterior decal or interior decal. And finally, and this one is very useful, is pressing mouse wheel button, we will start a new path. So we don't have to exit the tool and enter again to start a new decals path. Okay, now that thing is clear, let's start with free placement, as you can see here. So with free placement, we can press whenever we want, wherever we want, and start placing decals randomly. And as I said, if I press middle mouse button, so the mouse wheel, it will end that path and we can start another path. So we can just start placing decals everywhere without having the need to exit the tool. So yeah, and let's try the scale. So if we press Alt and we roll the mouse wheel, it starts scaling up or scaling down the decals. You can see it also here that the number is changing. So we can do it with a shortcut, or we can do it here in the UI. And let's change from free placement to snap to vertex. So now, as you can see, we have here this little helper that is snapping in the more closest vertex from our mouse cursor. So I can press here, click. Okay, with Shift and mouse wheel, we can rotate the decal, and then we can just start placing the decal. Let me go outside the camera so I can just move freely, and let's start putting decals in here. So one here, done, middle mouse to start a new path. So now it comes here. Let me press Shift to rotate. So now it's aligned perfectly again. So here, done. Okay, what else? So I can press here. Let's go down here. And now here, middle mouse, done. Okay, what is missing? This one in here and here. Okay, so now we have these outside edges done. We can maybe scale them up or scale them down. Let's try it. So I can press here to start a new path, but we don't want to do a new path. We just want to scale them. So with Alt, press, plus mouse wheel, we can roll up or roll down, and we can see how they are getting scaled up or scaled down. Let's start with the interesting one, that is snap to vertex with pathfinding. Okay, so this option, what allows us is to select 2 points, and the tool itself will create a path of decals that will connect those 2 points. So for that, I have this more complex geometry. So let me go again outside the camera. So in here, I can maybe, I don't know, let's try it here. So let me press here. Let me see how the decal is aligned. Okay, looks like it's perfectly aligned. And okay, so as you can see, I press this thing. So everything is kind of connected from the starting point that will be this one and the ending point that will be my second click. So for example, I can come here and I can press click, and then I can come here, click, here, click, here, click. Okay, let's try it again. So let's select this one. It's done, select. Let's click here, and click here. So with just 3 clicks, we just complete the whole. Let's try the latest one. So it's snap edge. So basically, if instead of snapping into the closest vertex, what this mode is allowing us to do is snap to the edge. So as you can see, it's kind of sliding over the edge. And it also has a little bit of a vertex snap, just to make sure that the end is snapping perfectly by the at the end of the geometry. So yeah, let's try it. We can click here and we start growing our decals, and maybe we want to finish. So thanks to that, we have the little snap up by the end. So click, middle click. So we have this one done. Yeah, in case that we want this weird spacing between decals, but yeah, we can press here in the edge, press here, press here, press here, press here. So, hello everyone. Let's continue with our Decal Studio overview. I hope this is not too boring. So yeah, thank you for being here, and let's continue. So let me restart all these parameters and let's talk about a distribution. Distribution is very simple. So it's just, we can have a snap to vertex, and I can press here, me just press shift and rotate the decal, and let me just press alt to scale it a little bit so you guys can see it better. And as you can see, it's just creating one decal. So let me middle click to end, and let's change the distribution to copy along path. As you can see, by default, we have 2 copies. So I press here, and I press here. Now what we are placing, instead of scaling one decal between the 2 points, between the 2 vertex, what we are doing is placing different copies in the same edge. So if I press Control, I can add a copy. So I can add, for instance, as you can see here in the number of copies, I can add maybe, I don't know, it's up to you, maybe 4 copies here. I can come here and I can, with Control and mouse wheel, I can change the number of decals I want to place in that corner, in that edge, same here and same here. So middle click, done. Hello and welcome back. So now that we just finished our tour, taking a look at the working method, we can jump to the geometry tab. So as you can see here, we have 2 different geometry options here, and it is shape A and shape B. And shape A has the edge decal out assigned, and shape B has the edge decal in assigned. And if you remember, if we press X button, we can switch shape A by shape B. Let me show you. So we can start by doing this exterior edge. Let's just press X. You saw that this jumped. Let me try to press X again if you miss it. So you can see it's jumping one to the other. And now if I middle click and this placement and start another one, it will have the other geometry that in this case is the edge decal interior. Hey, hello everyone and welcome back. So now that we know about the geometry tab and the edge decal out and edge decal in and how to switch between those shapes in real time, we can go to the material tab. So this is a super easy one, super simple. This is just where we are adding the decal default material. So as you know, if we press here, we have this transparent material for the decal, but we can go just to materials and maybe switch this one by this other color. And now, from now on, the decal material will be this new one. Okay, so yeah, we can always go back to the original one by pressing this little arrow, and we can. And yeah, now let's change to the material library. Here comes the really interesting part. It's a little bit tricky to explain what this does, so I think that the best way to show what it does is by doing it. So you see that we have seed value, now it's 0, and we have material collection. Now we have 0 elements in the material collection. So let's do it with colors first. So we can go to materials, and I can drag and drop here this dark material. And now if I change the seed, every decal in the scene that has been placed during this Decal Studio session will have assigned this dark material. So let me just move the slider, and you can see that every decal that I have in the scene has now the dark material. Okay, what happens if I add another material in the material collection? For instance, this red material. So now we have two materials in the collection. So if I move this slider, you can see that every decal has randomly assigned one of those two materials. Let's try it with three. So let's assign this white material. Now we have three different materials in our material collection, and let's move the seed. So now you can see that we have black decals, white decals, red decals. Okay, so I hope you are getting the idea here of what is this build for. And let's go to assign decal materials from our collection. So let me just clear this material collection. Let's go to decals, and maybe let's start with, I don't know, chamfer concrete maybe. So chamfer concrete materials. So as you can see, we have all these chamfer concrete decal materials to play with. So I can select maybe this one until this one. I can drag and drop all those here. And if I move this slider, those will be assigned automatically and randomly to our decals in the scene. So let's do it. Okay, let's go outside the camera, and let's navigate maybe here to see what is happening. Maybe let's get closer, and let's move the seed value, and you can see that now we have those 12 materials scattered into the decals, trying to avoid repetitions and blending perfectly between them and between the others in the same family. And as said before, we can click mouse wheel, and we can scale them up if we want. So now middle click to go outside again, and we can see those decals perfectly doing their work in this test geometry. Let's try to do another example. Let's remove all these materials from the material collection. Let's maybe change to, I don't know, could be a stone maybe. Materials. Okay, as you can see, we have 20 different versions. Those ones, as they are normal displacement decals, they have no color, but yeah, trust me, they are there. Let me just select, I don't know, this one plus this one. I don't care. Drag and drop here, and then change the seed, and look at this. Maybe those are too big right now, so click, Alt, mouse wheel. Let's bring them to the correct size, maybe something around 3 or 4. Middle click to go outside. So the advance is super simple. It allows us to add a name for our decals and attach to our decals. So for instance, the name by default is decal, and as you can see, geotexture, that is this box, let's say, this cube, it has all these decals as a child, and all those have the decal name. If we, for instance, put here, I don't know, corner, it will be called corner underscore the name of the father, that in this case is geotest03, and underscore a numerical. So exactly the same goes for the tag. So everything can be perfectly ordered and clean. When talking about this advanced tab, we have to talk about Viewport help. It's just this option to hide the Viewport help or to show the Viewport help. And yeah, this Viewport help is dynamic. So if we change, for instance, you can see here that we have snap to vertex with pathfinding. If we change free placement, it indicates here what mode we are on. So snap to vertex, and all these shortcuts are also updated depending on what we are doing. So for instance, copy along path, it shows us the copy shortcut at a copy, but if we are not here, if we are in scale distribution, it is hiding here. So yeah, maybe you need this thing on the screen all the time, or maybe you do not need that anymore because you already know how to use those shortcuts. So let's turn them off for now, and let's jump to the latest tab. In this case, the options that we have here it's to merge off the decals by the parent. So for instance, we have all these decals on top of geotest3, that is the cube, and let me move the camera, and all these decals on top of geotest02, that is this kind of torus. So you can see them here. I can just start selecting them. Okay, so okay, let's open this. So basically what this is allowing us to do is to merge all the decals into one geometry by parent. So if I press this button, all the decals on top of the torus will become one geometry, and that geometry will become the child of this torus, and all the decals on top of the cube will become only one geometry, and that geometry will be also the child of the cube. Finally, and before pressing the button, we can see here that we can specify the path where this geometry will be created and stored. So let me press the button, click. Now you can see that geotest02, that is the torus, has this geometry that is the decals, and the geotest3 has this geometry. Let me go outside the tool, that is the decals. So let me move it so you can see it, and here you can see also. And those new geometries are just created here. I can drag and drop, and I can drag and drop. Okay, so thank you very much for being here. We are cgLibrary, and this is our Decal Studio, and we hope you like it. And yeah, let us know all your feedback. Thank you very much, and have a nice day.